Well, welcome back to another conversation with us here at DES on Desk Talks. We are so glad that you are here. Today we're going to kick up a conversation that Rob and I've been kicking around for for a lot of years. And we're going to talk about the 40-hour work week. I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, thanks, Henry Ford.
Thanks a lot, Henry.
Yeah, appreciate you.
What a guy.
What a stand-up
What
guy.
a guy.
What a stand-up guy.
Real class act there. Yeah. Well, I mean, I know some of the conversation has been frustration with the two of us of like, what does a work day as we have started building our own company. It is hard to, I will admit, it's hard to stay focused because we have so many detractors, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
I know you feel the exact same way.
Yeah, I do. And there's, now that we've transitioned over into, DES full-time, you and I are working other full-time jobs and starting to, stand up our own company. We're doing the thing now, and 40-hour work weeks don't exist for us any longer.
No,
I work when there is work to be done. And it feels like that. Some days it feels like that's 24 hours a day. Some days it feels like, well, damn, I finished everything that I wanted to do today in an hour. What do I do with the rest of my day?
Yeah.
Or there's
my favorite, which is okay, here we go. And then now I'm waiting on somebody else. And I'm going,
that's the worst.
Oh, hurry up. I want something to do. I need it.
Well, that and the fact, I mean, you think about our previous careers before we did this, like almost at the end of almost every day, there was something to hold up or something to reflect on and say, well, look what I did this today. I did X.
Yeah.
I completed this task. Whereas now there's a lot of ideation. There's a lot of strategic planning. Every day you're not, I'm not finishing a project every day. I'm not completing. I'm not checking the box any longer, which is phenomenal. I love it. I wouldn't change anything. But then there are also times where I'm like,
I need to win. Make the check marks more frequent.
Yeah.
If I could change something.
You're not wrong. But, I remember working, whenever we were in the military, right? We'll start there. So whenever we were in the military, we had certain benchmarks that you had to hit in the day.
Absolutely.
5 days a week, we have, morning PT, right? Knock that off. Check the box, right? Then we go into the shop and we have a checklist, things that need to get done. Boom, boom, boom. In the day, we check those off. If it's Wednesday, we're in motor pool, baby. Like we know what it is. If you're deployed, you're working real world ops, whatever, 12, 16-hour days, you're checking the box. Like there's always something to check the box. And I will say, whenever you're in the military, they're going to squeeze. They are going to squeeze every hour, every second, every minute out of you that they can. And I got to be honest, I don't think it changed a whole lot whenever we came back into the civilian world. And into our civilian careers, you get squeezed, for every second of every day.
Yep.
Until you get to a certain level, which then you start moving to more strategic, which is what happened to me in my previous, right before DES, I was more at the strategic level, a strategic way of thinking, looking to the future. Everything's so future stated. That
felt more like a logistician than you did a.
Well, yeah, and there's not a whole lot of checking the box,
Right.
There's a lot of planning, a lot of preparation, a lot of conversations, and oh my God, the amount of meetings that you're in whenever you hit middle management, the level of meetings, and the Teams, Zoom, Skype for Business, Google Meet. Like there's so many, we've made ourselves so accessible that the statistic shows 71% of people's work days are tied up in meetings. 71%.
71%. I believe that. I believe that in ideation, right? So a meeting is ideation. That's, that's what's supposed to kick off the movement, but who's doing the movement if I'm sitting in a meeting, right?
Well, oddly, and I'm so glad you brought that up. So 71% of the workday is caught up in meetings. There is a study. Let me read my source here. I'm gonna cite my findings. This was done. The title of this article: here's how many hours workers are actually productive and what they're doing instead, by Kathy Morris. It was published at the beginning of 2023. 71% of time is spent in meetings, and of that time, 78% of people in those meetings think that the meeting is unproductive.
60% of the time,
it works.
It works every time.
Every time. I mean, I said that all the time. And, bringing it back to the 40-hour work week, whenever you and I started DES, I think life experience and the fact that both of us may or may not have ADD, maybe.
Just maybe.
Sitting down and being still for 8 hours, that is not conducive to a healthy work environment for me. And I know it's not for you.
No.
So working 40 hours a week, do we do that? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But it looks different. It looks different. We're in a meeting. We do here at DES. We have a Monday morning meeting.
Yep.
Right? To kick off our week. We get the vibes right for the week. We talk about, here's Chase's hit list for the week. Here's Rob's hit list for the week. Where is their intersection? Where can we help each other? I.e., where are the pain points? Yep. What have I overlooked? And then
what's a team lift? What's a solo lift?
Exactly.
We get that out of the way on Mondays. We have a wrap up on Fridays. We do this wonderful podcast for you guys every week.
Yep. But I mean, outside of that, like the only time that we don't have any other formal meetings internally, there are no additional formal meetings. You can call me, you message me.
Yep. We communicate, but we try not to fill up our day with meetings internally.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of no meeting should last more than 30 minutes. If it is lasting more than 30 minutes, now I will be honest, and I will spill some tea here. Our meetings last a lot longer than 30 minutes on Mondays. Yes. But we're brothers, so we're talking about everything. What'd you do this weekend? Well, I did this.
It usually starts off with, because I don't talk to you on the weekends usually, because we talk to each other all week.
All week.
So it's hey, how was the weekend, brother? Yep. What'd you guys get into? Mm-hmm. Oh, I saw on Facebook that you guys went and did this. Man, that sounds awesome. Uh-huh. Oh, that's great. Oh, or, dude, my my truck broke down. Yeah. This weekend I spent the whole weekend working on my truck. It's stuff like that.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. But I mean, why do we tie ourselves up in meetings so much? And I think from it just experience, and this is just my personal experience, I think we have so many meetings because people don't know what to do to fill a 40-hour work week or an 8-hour work day, because there's not enough work to be done. And your leadership team, a lot of individuals, I never operated that way. I always operated in, hey man, you come in, you get your work done, and there's no degradation in the mission. Like you are hitting the marks that you want to hit. Bye. Have a great day. Now, you be available, right? Our working hours are 8 to 4. So if I call you between 8 and 4, you need to answer your phone or return my phone call in a timely manner. Outside of that, bye. Hope you have a
Yep.
great day, man. There's no point in you sitting here staring at a computer screen,
Nope. Go work on
scrolling
you.
Facebook or YouTube.
Yep.
I don't go be productive in life. Go do something.
Go get yourself set up for tomorrow.
Or go make yourself interesting. Isn't that what you tell your kids? Go make yourself
I
interesting.
love that saying. That is one of my favorite sayings. Like, go make yourself interesting. Go go develop yourself.
Yeah, get a hobby.
Get a hobby.
Get a hobby, because you and I have both said many, many times, work is not a hobby.
No.
So your entire self-identity, and we talked about this relating it back to the military. I always said I never bought in, and I never did, like assimilated fully to the military culture.
Never drank the Kool-Aid.
I didn't drink the Kool-Aid, man, because I wanted
I
to
did.
still...
I was all in.
I know you were, for a while. But I wanted to keep that separate. Like, I still wanted to be Rob, which is why I always said professionally before we started DES, everybody called me Robert. There was Robert at work. There was Rob at home. Those two people don't intersect. Nowadays, that can't be the case because I work at home. I'm here all the time, and I'm tired of having the professional moniker. Like the person doesn't have to be different; they can be the same, and I can share my hobbies at work. Makes you a more rounded person. And it makes you more interesting, and it makes slogging through the 8-hour workday a heck of a lot easier if you and I can talk about, I don't know, woodworking for 5 minutes out of the day. I look forward to that conversation.
Or it's archery season up here. So
sure,
I'd much rather hear about your failed attempt at getting a buck this weekend.
Yes. Or what electrical skills did you, I learned how to do electrical work this weekend. That's awesome, dude. Why? Well, my AC unit went out.
Yep.
Let's talk about that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, make yourself a human being. You don't have to be a robot, which is tough to do because we're programmed to be robots at such a young age, not to take us down too far of a tangent. But, recapture a bit of yourself inside of the 40-hour work week. Don't be a mindless drone and be miserable for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
From the mouth of babes. Oh, man.
But
make
you and I
yourself
talked about
interesting. That. Get out there, make yourself interesting. Your 40-hour work week is that is a third of your life. All right? That is a third. That should account for a third of who you are.
Well, how about this? Can I share a statistic real quick?
Yeah, please share stats.
So,
I think your stat of 71% of people aren't are tied up in meetings, and 78% of those people don't even know why they're there.
Look, that was me. I'm serious. And you could ask any of my former colleagues there towards the end of my time. I would tell people, hey, what's my role in this meeting? You're just an attendee. Fantastic. I'm going to follow up with you at some point, or if there's any due out from me, please let me know. Otherwise, I won't be present for this meeting. I'd much rather be productive and get work done than sit here and listen to X talk about, I don't know, why the buses aren't moving as fast as they are. What are we talking about?
That's not my lane.
That's not my lane, man.
That's not my lane. I'm happy to help you with your lane. If you need help with your lane, come on, let's talk about it. But let's talk about how I can help you. But I don't need a meeting for you to tell me what you're doing. I'm just going to trust that you're getting it done. And whenever we come back together, if you need some help, I expect you to be an adult and reach out. But I guess that's an unrealistic level of expectation because, you and I did talk about this. You're cut from uncommon cloth. Nobody's going to care as much as you, right, about your job and about your stuff.
Yeah.
So you and I have had that conversation around what does it mean to be an employee versus a business owner, right? There's a different mindset, right? It's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
People have this perspective that, where it might be true where you work. Let me put this disclaimer out there. It might be true where you work, but not everybody's making, $1 when you make a dime. Yeah. So not everybody, so if you are, working on an elite team, and you're expected to pull your weight. Well, I mean, come on, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I hear what you're saying, and you're right. You said that to me privately, and now I'm going to make it public. Is you can't expect people to work like you. You can't expect people to care like you. And by the way, he did not say this in a negative way, but it sure certainly sounded like it how I was presenting it. But you did say that to me. You can't have the expectations for others that you have for yourself. People don't work at your pace. People aren't you. You have to do you and set expectations for others around you that's realistic for who they are. And I agree with you, man. That's just good people management skills
Yeah.
at that point.
Well, it's perspective. It's being able to take yourself out of your own shoes and put yourself in somebody else's. I mean, I've always bragged on myself, that I can get 8 hours worth of work done in 4 hours.
Yep.
But there's more to that, right? I can get 8 hours work done in 4 hours, but I am done.
Yep.
After that 4 hours, don't come to me asking me to come lift another sandbag, to come type another word, to do anything like that, because I have just ragged myself out for 4 hours. I need to go and recharge the batteries.
Yeah, man. Dude, you and I talked about this, and you were very similar at one point in your career. I mean, whenever I was in higher ed, dude, I was the first person in the office. I would get there. Our office would open at 8:30 in the morning. I'd be in the office between 6:30 and 7. Most of the time, by the time my colleagues got in the office, I mean, let's be realistically, between 8:30 and 10, my work was done. My hard tasks for the day were done because I like talking to people. And so I'm more interested in learning what my colleagues have going on. Is there intersection, with what they have going on? Is there a conversation to be had with this person? But that goes back to knowing yourself, which is interesting and a good segue into this statistic. One, I would like to give a shout out to all my bathroom vacationers out there who go to work and spend 3 hours out of the work week in the restroom. I applaud you. If we were still in the military, I would give you my coin as a token of appreciation.
For your dedication to your craft.
Yeah, the statistic shows that an average employee spends an hour and 5 minutes in the restroom during a 5-day work week. That is a good paid vacation, and I'm here for it.
That's oh my gosh, quick math. That's almost 55 hours? No.
Yeah, give or take a year.
About 55 hours a year that you're getting paid. So I get, that is, I mean, that's a nice bonus.
Listen to me. I got medically retired out of the military for bad knees. Sometimes it just takes time. Okay. It is a disability at this point. I need to be where I am for at least 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But here's the statistic of an 8-hour workday. And I can't see. Oh, here it is. So I'm qualifying the statistics. They surveyed 1,000 workers across different industries, right? So they're aggregating this data. But let me find it.
I love aggregated data like that. 1,000.
That's a good
1,000 people over multiple industries. Does that mean you talk to one person at 1,000 different industries? You went and found the most disgruntled person there and said, "Tell me how you really feel about this."
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, they found the Todds of the world and
oh,
sorry, Todd. Or the Kyles of the world, is that what it is? Okay, all right. So during an 8-hour workday, the average worker only spends 4 hours and 12 minutes actively working. Of course, that's going to change based off of industry, right? Like if you're a factory worker, if you're a line worker, you're probably working 7.5 out of those 8 hours, and the 15 minutes you got for lunch and the 15 minutes you get for break.
Yep.
But if you're working in higher ed, where I wasn't an academic advisor, right? I was a director of Veterans Affairs. There are some days where there's not 8 hours of work to be done in a day. And then there are days where there's 40 hours of work to be done in a day.
Yeah.
But of the 4.5 hours that people spend working, the other, what is that, 3.5 hours that they work, 47% of workers admit to surfing the internet at work, making it the most common off task behavior. The next is social media at 45%, texting, bathroom breaks, socializing with coworkers is way, 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 way down the list, which is sad.
I find that surprising. I was more of a social person.
I
So
was
whenever
too.
I wasn't working, like on task, even in the military, whenever I wasn't working on task, I mean, it was smoke and joke, get around and laugh and try to make the work day go by faster,
Yeah, man.
you
I
know,
mean, and you also,
water
but there,
cooler stuff, talking about like we talk about what you did this weekend, what's your hobbies, what are you into, what do you do for fun? You do
but
this for work. What do you do for fun?
what does that do for you though? Like, extrapolate on that for me for just a second. Like, you're
It
spending
gives
the
my brain a
time.
break. Gives my brain a break.
Yeah.
I am, like I said before, I feel like I could get 4 hours worth of work done in 8 hours. I'm a hard worker and I hyper focus with my ADHD. Like I'm able to hyper focus and just knock stuff out. Now there are days, like you said, that I'm just not able to function
Yeah. Yep.
where I'm barely productive, right?
Yeah.
But at work, but then I'm productive in other areas of my
Yeah.
life,
Sure,
right?
man.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the beauty of it's the beauty of who we are, right, as people.
It is, and I think to take that a step further, I'm thinking about it as, because you told me before we teed up this episode, think about it. Come at it from the perspective of as a business owner and CEO, right? As a business owner or as a manager, right? I'm spending
Right. Well,
time
you have
with,
different perspectives, right? Like a
well,
perspective as somebody who is right off the rung is different from somebody who's a manager.
well, absolutely. But I mean, you spend that time socializing with your colleagues. I'm learning things about Chase. I'm learning that Chase has ADHD. I'm learning that, you know, I can't be frustrated with him whenever he's not working when I'm working, because he already got his work done. He hyper focused for an hour and got 8 hours worth of work done in an hour. As long as the work is up to the standard that has been set, I have nothing to complain about.
Yep.
Or you spend that time with your colleagues, you spend that time with your employees, even if it's just a quick 5 to 10 minute interaction. You're learning what makes them tick. What are their interests? So that way, whenever a task comes down, whenever there's something to be done, I know this employee, Chase, has the strength. Like, one of his areas is logistics, is people management. So I have new employees that need to be onboarded. Hey, Chase, would you mind handling the onboarding process for these two new employees? Right? Like, I know this about you because I've spent time with you and
Yeah.
understand outside of just work. Like, I'm spending the 5-10 minutes, I don't, work's cool, man. We have 7 hours and 50 minutes to talk about work. Let's spend 10 minutes to just talk about you.
Yeah.
How's your family? But not too
Yeah.
granular, because I'm gonna be
Not
honest
too
with you.
granular, right? Because
I
we
don't,
don't want to be you don't want to get into the minutia of people's
not a
lives. I mean,
therapy
that's not
session.
it's not a therapy session, but
Yep.
what do you do for fun? Let me know what kind of person you are. Like,
Right?
I understand what you are at work. I mean, I expect you to be a worker bee here at work. I don't expect you to be, I don't know, take me for instance, an adventure bike rider, your motorcycle rider,
Yeah.
or take Rob for instance, a hobby farmer.
Yeah.
A beginning hobby farmer, right? Like, those are interesting things, but it also gives you details about who they are, and they might have experiences or something else to bring to the team that you were not aware of, right?
Yeah. Can I give a good example of that in my experience, just to help put something to what we're saying? And from my own experience, whenever I started at SMU, man, or at my previous place of employment, uh, I started in IT, and that was going to be it. It was a job. I needed a job to make ends
Yeah.
meet, pay the bills while I was finishing up my education. And then thank God I had a really good manager, Tony, who came to, and he just talked to me. What things do you like? What are you into? You know, what do you see around here? Where could we improve? And I said, well, our veteran services are a little bit lacking. That conversation died for about 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden, Tony comes to me, hey, man, I think there's an opportunity to do some things in the veteran space. Would you like to head that up? Because for me at the time, it was a passion project, right? But that's a lot of
Right.
people's careers. That's how a lot of people go from job to career, because they have somebody to communicate with them and help them along to that next step. But we can't do that if we're not communicating with each other and pulling away from what you just said, just being a worker bee and just being there to
Well,
accomplish the task.
and there are people out there, Rob. That's one thing that you and I have a hard time relating to is people that want to come in and put their 40 hours and go home because that's not where they put their value. That's not the value,
Oh, sure.
right? That are
Yeah.
not, they have a career, but that career affords a lifestyle. Does that
True.
make sense? They're
Yeah.
more involved in that lifestyle. Again, I think this conversation is directly applicable to you because I'm sure you're tired of giving up a third of your life every week, to go do to do that job to afford your lifestyle. It's all about working smarter, not harder. I heard it a lot in the military. Stop working so hard. You need to work smart. Heard that a lot as a junior, enlisted person. Like, you're doing a lot. Let us help. Spread the load. You need to
Yes.
start teaching people how to do that. You need to. I heard that a lot because I was always such a good worker. I was raised to be such a good worker. I was not. Not all of us are raised to be good managers. To be able to manage our time,
Yep.
to be able to manage task.
Yep.
In a 40-hour work week, why do I think people spend that amount of time? Is because they were never taught how to literally sit down and make a checklist. People out there listening, I realize this might be new technology, but ChatGPT, you can go to ChatGPT and insert a command saying, hey, how do I build a rocking horse? And 50 different, step instructions, and it'll give you that. Someone who struggles with staying on task in ADD, ADHD, I've been doing that for years without ChatGPT, sitting down trying to give myself as many wins as I can because I need that dopamine hit. I need that low dopamine that I have in production needs a
Yep.
little help.
Yep.
Okay. So I have to trick myself into, small victories where people would say, that's not a victory. No, that's a victory for me. And checking that list off, that I will tell you whenever I found that, and I hate saying what it is, I'll say it again, but ChatGPT or something like it, if you can
Hmm.
find something of that nature that helps you stay on task, that's great. And then reclaim your life back, reclaim your time back.
I just, you and I've talked about this, and I'll say it here too. When did it become cool to like overwork? Why did that become such a thing that people hang their hat on? Because anytime you talk to, not
Don't
everybody,
do
but
that.
some people say things like, God, I'm so busy. I have so
I will
much to
go back.
do.
I will go back and show you from some of the earliest printing presses that we have in America. Some of the very first things that were rolled off that press is nobody wants to work anymore. Like, that is a systemic problem throughout history that people don't feel like everybody's pulling their own weight, right? And I think
Dude,
it comes from people who are overachievers, people that are highly motivated by whatever, and they are, there's a reason why we only have X amount of CEOs in the world, type tier industry leading
yeah,
people, and then we
sure.
have a lot of people that work at the ground level, and that pyramid or that starts getting smaller as you go towards the top, right? I mean, that's motivation. That's people that desire that,
Well, it's
and
into
what
that.
drives you.
That's a really good point, and that reminds me of this story about Elon Musk that I shared with you last week. And I don't remember if I said it on the desk talk from last week, but Like whenever he was starting Tesla,
Oh my
and it
gosh.
was
Yeah,
like
what
nine
a
o'clock at
monster
night on a
that guy was.
Friday. It was 9 o'clock p.m. on a Friday, and he ended up
Yep.
firing people because they
Yep.
weren't in the office with him,
Yep.
working their tails off.
He
You know,
could not understand why, with a project that they had coming up on such a short deadline, why people were at home at 8 o'clock on a Friday evening
look,
and
man,
not at the office.
look. Sometimes that's necessary, and I'm not saying that it's
Absolutely.
not. There are times in work where suck it up, Buttercup. It is time to put
Yep.
your head down and just and finish it.
Push through.
Finish the
Yep.
task. You know, and that doesn't have to be a negative thing. I think that's a good thing. Every night, you and I went through it. We go through it all the time, man. There are days whenever, realistically, I can look at you at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Hey, Bubba, I hope you have a good day. I'm out. And then
Yep.
there are weekends that I call you,
Yeah.
hey, dude, we need
Hey,
to jump
Jake.
on and we need to
Hey,
do
can you jump
this.
over here and take a look at this for me?
It is what it is. But
Yeah.
you know, I think about that story and I hear you talking in to go further in that Elon Musk story. Clearly, wildly successful, wild, like achieving things that have never been done in human history. But he also talked about how miserable he was because he
Yeah,
was
he does.
expecting everyone to work like him. And that always brings my mind back to, man, comparison is the thief of joy here. You can't expect,
Amen.
you can't look at how you do things and expect everyone to match that or compare your work ethic with someone else's. Um, yeah.
Well, there's also a caveat to that. I mean, comparison is the thief of joy, but if you also have to have goals, and you have to have you have to have somewhere to start your goals,
Yeah.
right? So as long as you are comparing yourself against your own goals, I think it's healthy. But
Oh,
whenever you
that's,
start comparing
yeah,
yourself
agreed.
against the person next to you, or because we're making this personal, and I said this to you because you're a highly motivated, CEO of a company. We've started a
Sure.
company. This is not normal. This is, in 2024, it's not normal to start a business.
Hmm.
Okay. It's abnormal.
Hmm.
So whenever you're going through that, it's a different motivation. It's a different, it hits different, if you will.
Yeah, it's called
It's a
survival.
different vibe. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, because it truly is. Whenever you start a business, you eat what you kill.
Yep.
And if you don't hunt that day, you're not going to eat. And you got to be
You're
okay with
right.
that.
Yep.
And some people are not comfortable with that level. Are not comfortable with that. That idea that you're going to have to eat what you kill, and that's tough. That's a tough mentality. And, that translates back to that 40-hour work week, which you and I try to talk about constantly with each other, is make sure you're working on you.
No,
Don't
well,
make this, don't, show a good example for everybody, including your kids and your family, because that's what's
yes.
most important, and show them how we're supposed to work, and show them how we're supposed to play.
No, there
You
you
know,
go. There you go. Yeah, because the last thing I want to be is I had a hard shift in myself in 20. I think it was 2022. We were going on vacation to Florida, and I was on a work call in my office. In my office on a work call at home, and my youngest son, I didn't know he had walked in behind me, and I was, hey, are you going to be available for this meet and greet next Thursday at this time? I was like, hey, I'll be on vacation, but yeah, I'll take my laptop. I'll be there. And all of a sudden, I hear this little voice behind me. It's my youngest son. Dad, please don't bring your laptop on vacation.
man, that'll crush you.
And so I immediately, with no hesitation, went, you know what? I won't be there, and I left my laptop at home. And that changed my mindset. I don't want my kids to view me as this workaholic, not present. And there is a difference in being in the same room as someone and being present in the moment. Being present, i.e., stepping away from distractions and being with the people that you care about, right? But you
Yeah.
extrapolate that even further, that goes back to what I was saying with communication inside the workplace. You have
Yeah.
to be able to talk with people and really communicate and not be. Did
Oh
you
my
see the
gosh.
meme that I sent you? Did you
It-
see? Did you? That's hilarious. There's no
right, but
context
that's
in that.
okay. Yeah, but that's okay. Well, see, that's
Oh,
where
I
a
have
lot of people
strong
are.
feelings.
There's, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with social interactions inside the office, right? Like the difference is whenever those conversations stop, like you're doing more conversating than working. Like, I don't know. This is so weird. It's such a gray area because not everybody does the same thing for work, right? I mean, if you're a
Yeah,
factory
you're
worker,
right.
obviously you're not sitting on the line talking, or else you're going to get fired, right? If you're
Yeah,
working, a trades job, if you're building a house, like conversations never stop. I've been on construction. I've worked
yeah,
construction.
yeah.
I
Sure,
can tell you right now, like it's a different environment. They're
it
talking
is.
about everything. Good Lord! And whenever you get done talking about things, like you start making up stuff. You start telling each other, "Hey, tell me a story that includes this, 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 and this, and this, and it." Right? Just tell me something. Right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. You said that, and I immediately thought, I was had an appointment at the doctor's office last month, and I was so frustrated that he was 10 minutes late.
oh my
I was
gosh,
like, dude,
yeah,
I
no
have been
joke.
here for 40 minutes. I was here 30
Yep,
minutes early. Now I'm
yep.
waiting 10 minutes in the waiting room. Like, I bet this joker's over here just chilling. So, you know what? That's a good perspective. And you're right. It is different based off of
Well,
the
and
work that you do.
that doctor's back there busting his butt, moving
He
from room to
is.
room to room to room to
Yep.
room to room and having to switch his brain
Yep.
and take a deep breath and walk in and go, okay,
I
new,
mean, you're right.
you know, every
You're
single
right.
time. And then we get upset with people like that, or good gosh, the DMV.
Don't. Why are we doing this? Don't humanize the DMV. Okay, that is not a place for humans. That is a place for soulless bureaucrats. Okay, don't do that to me.
If you listen to Desk Talks and you currently work at a DMV, okay,
Find a new job.
we don't like it.
I'm kidding. You're doing the Lord's work.
I'm not. I don't like it. We live in 2024. This should be automated by now. Like if we're talking about true progression in the American spirit, why have we not destroyed the DMV
Why do we
and
still
made
have
it past tense?
why do we still have 40-hour work weeks whenever the statistics, the psychology behind it 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 is the most inefficient model. It works for production.
Yeah,
For
it works inside of
production.
a factory,
We are no
inside
longer
where you.
an industrialized society. You look at the fastest growing job markets in America over the past 10 years has been in information technology and cybersecurity.
Yeah, IT, cybersecurity. Well, trades are going up now, Bubba. You can't say that.
No,
Trades are
yeah,
ticking, ticking, ticking.
they are, but you still have such growth. I mean, I just looked at the statistic this morning while you and I were talking. You're talking a 60% growth in information technology, even still today. Until 2029, they're expecting a 67% growth
Yeah,
across information technology sector, and that's just for entry level IT.
yeah. Well, I thought it was also the medical field, even entry level medical field, not doctors. We're talking about medical field. That's also
Yeah,
high up there for health
yep,
workers.
you're
From
right.
all kinds, all the way down. But they're seeing a demand go up, but actual participations, people who are actually qualified for the job, go down.
Well, that's
We're
yeah,
not seeing as many people go into nursing and stuff like that as we used to.
that's the highest
Things have
demand.
changed.
Yes, the highest demand is nurse practitioner, but if you break it down and you look at it, the reason that the demand is so high is, to your point, people aren't going there to be people don't want to be a nurse practitioner because the reality is you can make more money if you work in an entry level IT job. That
Yeah.
takes you 17, 18 weeks to
Or
get the licensure in.
if you're young and you have no attachments, or if this is your lifestyle, you become a traveling nurse. And a lot of
Oh,
friends have
yeah.
done that.
Yeah.
They go and they work in high need areas. They get paid really good money. A lot of times they have their living situation taken care of too. So they're just out there making money and then going on awesome vacations. I mean, I feel like they cracked the code.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's about priorities, and as
It is.
we're digesting this conversation out loud, uh, you know, I mean, you work to afford the lifestyle that you want, right?
Yep.
So
Amen.
if you
Oh,
want to
oh, that's a nugget right there.
do,
Pull that one out.
if you
Mark
want
that
to,
clip.
yeah, I mean, if you want to go on vacations, if you want to have, your home here in Texas and then a vacation home in Florida, yeah, Bubba, you're going to work, and you're going to have
Yep.
to work hard. If you're like me and you're comfortable in life, and I am, I'm very comfortable. I'm happy. I'm happy with my life. So I don't need to work 80 hours a week anymore. I did that. Been there, done that. Moved up the ladder, did what I needed to do, and now started our own company. So here we go again. But yeah,
Seeking other opportunities.
it's seeking other opportunities, but it's different. But I mean, truly, you do. Like, if you're comfortable where you are in life, don't listen to me. Be happy. Be happy with where you are in life, and do you. But if you do, and this is again, comparison is a thief of joy. We look at social media and we see everybody's highlights in life. Golly, what does Chase do that he's in, Cabo this week, and the next week he's in Vegas? You don't see the grind that happens every day, the
Yep.
12, 16-hour days that Chase is
Yep.
pulling 6 days
You're
a
not up
week.
at 5 a.m. with me. You're not,
Right.
you're not sit there answering those phone calls. But the trade-off is that, you're also not working at 7 p.m. on most
Yep.
days,
Yep.
where I've been there. I've done
Yep.
that, I just got tired of it.
Well, and it takes
Get burnt
it,
out.
it takes something that I think we have moved away from as good red-blooded Americans. It takes a little bit of empathy and understanding for what other people do and their own struggle professionally. We don't look at it anymore, because I can tell you right now, I'm a victim of it. I look at what other people do and think to myself, I could do that. I could do that.
Oh, that's my most toxic trait. I was actually talking to my neighbor about this morning as we were getting our kids on the bus. I said, one of the most fascinating things that I think one of the most groundbreaking things the internet has ever brought us was YouTube. Yeah, I said it is my most toxic trait is that I can look at somebody on YouTube and
Yeah,
go,
man.
I could do that. If you could do that, I could do that. Like, no, you're making that, and they make it look so easy
Yep.
because they've done it. They're professionals. They've done it.
I'm telling you, that is a slippery slope. Thinking that you can do everything other people can't. I mean, or that other people can. It's like me trying to fix an AC unit. I got it. I can watch YouTube. I know what I'm doing. Well, no, I don't, because the service repairman's on his way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but anyway, not to derail us too much, but I do think personally, for us here at DES, you and I have said this all along. I don't want to follow that antiquated 9 to 5 model. I
Nope.
want to follow the model of this is the vision, this is who we are, this is the strategic goal, here are the daily tasks. Once those get accomplished, man, and more people are doing it, you have companies like Google, Capital One, just to name two, that do a fantastic job. Whenever your tasks are done, do what you feel like you need to do, which is why the Capital One campus in, I think it's in Frisco or Plano, Texas here, dude, they have a freaking slide. They have a gym. They have a cafeteria.
Did
They
you
have all
just
these things.
did you just say they have a slide?
They do have a slide. And that slide, I don't use this word.
Hey,
I don't use
Desk
this
talkers,
word.
hold on, desk talkers, just 1 second. Hey, dude,
Yeah.
as a company, can we
can
put
get
a slide?
Yeah.
Can we get a slide?
Yeah.
Can we have a trampoline at the bottom of the slide?
We can talk about that. I feel like that's a liability issue.
That's fair. All right, my bad.
Okay, so epic. The slide is epic. I hate
is
that
awesome,
word.
man.
It is the worst word ever, but in this moment, it's epic. My wife used to work for Capital One, and she took me over to their campus and showed it to me one time, and I was hooked. I was like, well,
I would have never let this slide. I'm such a kid.
Can I come over tomorrow? Why? You want to have lunch
Have
again?
lunch with you?
Yeah, I want to have lunch with you, but can I hit the slide first?
Yeah. I'll meet you in the cafeteria. Where are you? I got here 30 minutes early, like an appointment. I just want to make sure that I'm available for you. Where are you right now? I'm going down the slide.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Why are you
my third
sweating?
time down.
It's 70 degrees outside. Why are you sweating so much? I went down the slide 6 times.
Hey, you all know my wife, Elizabeth. Hey, Elizabeth, have you met Jeff?
No kidding.
He's in accounting.
Why are you so sweaty? Tom and I were chasing each other around the slide.
Tom and I were racing each other down the slide.
Oh, man.
Desk Talkers, I'm so glad that y'all were here for this conversation. Let's keep the conversation going. If you feel like you have something to add to this conversation, which you all do, we'd love to hear from you. What does a 40-hour week look like for you? Or do you think, even better, let's put up a poll. Should we stay with the 40-hour work week?
Ooh.
Or should we start redefining
Let's do that.
what a work week looks like?
Let's do that. And before we jump off here, real quick, Trace, PSA. If you have made it this far in the Desk Talk, we appreciate you. Just to let you know, regardless of platform that you're listening to this on, if it's YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, any other podcasting site, there is a follow button. I encourage you to click it. It helps us. It does. It helps us immensely get not only our voices out there, but our organization out there. It also helps grow our community, and there is no burden on you to do so. And then one other thing, just to remind everyone, DES has partnered with the American Red Cross to help those individuals who have been impacted by the most recent natural disasters, Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton, along the East Coast. I know we may not see that here in Texas. We don't see the devastation. We don't see the power outages. We don't see the lack of food or clean drinking water. I assure you, there are individuals here in our nation, in America, who don't have clean drinking water right now. We all came together 5 years ago whenever Mississippi didn't have clean drinking water. We need to do it again. I'm not asking you for your money. DES gets none of it. I'm just asking for your time. If you could, please visit the Red Cross website, our microsite. If you are able, any donation, large, small, it all helps. Volunteer your time. Give blood. That's the biggest need. Anything would be greatly, greatly appreciated. And I'm done. I'm off my soapbox. To all of you who made it this far in this week's Desk Talk, Chase and I want to say thank you and let you know that it's time for your voices to be heard. If there's something you want to discuss, if there's a topic you want to kick off, join us. We encourage you to. You don't have to show your face. You can just be heard through your voice, or you can give us a topic and we'd be happy to cover it for you.
With that being said, thank you so much for all your support. Remember to click like, share, and comment if you have something to comment. Until next time.
See you on the next one.